Hey everybody, this is Echo Papa, and today we're going to talk about the rhythm window up here because I got a question earlier today. Someone had a question about these three buttons right here, S, D, and R. S stands for save, D stands for default, and R stands for recall. And we'll talk about them real quick, and we'll also go over all the great options that there is for the rhythm window up here. Of course, everybody knows what the rhythm window is. It's been a mainstay of virtual DJ for a very long time. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, as you can see, the waveform scrolls across the rhythm window, and you can use the zoom slider over here to zoom it in and out. Now, over here, what you can do is these buttons here. If you change the zoom on it, you can click these buttons over here. S will save a zoom level that you've changed it to, and then recall will bring it back. And then D just switches you back to the default zoom level. So let's go ahead and click a couple of them. I'm going to click. There we go. I clicked R. You see I had saved it earlier to a very slow crawl across the screen. If I click to D, it'll switch back to default. So we're going to change the zoom. We're going to go right there. All right. So we know what the rhythm window is. Let's go over some of the great options that they've added to the rhythm window. And it's up here. If you see this little waveform right here, that is the rhythm window menu button. So let's go ahead and click on it. The first one is the default wave. And that's the one that everybody's seen for years. You can see in the default wave, you see these bars right here. There's this blue one, here's a red one, and what those are is those are just help you line up your beats if you're syncing stuff, your tracks up one to another. And another thing you can do, let's jump a little bit farther into these songs, is this one down here. If you show extra grid lines, now you can see all these lines have popped in on our waveforms. Now let's go ahead and play this song. Now what these are, each one of these lines equals a 4-bar beat. Up here, this is our CBG. Every time one of these blue lines hits this white line in the center, which is essentially like our playhead, it starts it right here. So let's pause this. So let's go ahead and clear this out so we can see it a little bit clearer. So when it hits this line, it's going to be at position 1. Let's just move it. If we move this line right here onto this white line, you're going to see it's going to be right at position 1. That's going to be beat 1. So when it comes here, you got to beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and then it's going to end here on beat 4. When it hits this line again, it's going to reset itself to beat 1. So I'm going to go ahead and just manually drag this track across. And as I do, when it hits this line, you're going to see this countdown, and it's going to start over again. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, hits the line, resets to number 1. So that's what these lines are. They're demonstrating where your 4-beat count is. So that way, let's go ahead and put a song back in here. When you have it, it makes it easier to line your songs up, not only just by the beat, but where your 4 count is, giving you another view of the CBG here in the waveform. But let's go ahead and turn these off. Now keep in mind, this to show extra grid lines is not available in every version of this. Some of them, like it's in the default wave and the inverted wave, yes, but not in the scratch wave. So we're going to go ahead and turn them off for now. Let's go to the inverted wave. Now the inverted wave is going to be just like this. Now this, it's kind of like this is the ground and the waveform is going upwards, which makes it very easy to see your beats, and that's been the default for a very long time. But inverted wave is going to show it dead center in the screen. So let's click on it, and there it is right there. Your waveform is still there, but now it's more like the waveform here in your play area and here in your scratch zoom area than it is in the default where it only shows it going upwards. Now the horizontal scratch line, that's more like other systems. Like you'll see it this way where they're side by side. You'll see this in like Serato DJ and Serato Itch, back when Itch was still around. And on lots of different ones where they have the waveforms going side by side. Now if you do this, this is one of those where the show extra grid lines, you see even when I check it, it's checked here, but those lines don't show up. But you can see them pretty well, so you don't really need those lines there nearly so much. So that is the 2-deck mode, but there's there's two other modes because you have 4-deck and you have 6-deck mode. But before we jump down to 4-deck, let's actually go to 6-deck. 2-deck and 6-deck mode are very, very similar. So here we are now in 6-deck mode, and you'll find that 2-deck mode and 6-deck mode are similar in a whole lot of things. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to load up a bunch of tracks. I'm going to click load set. Okay. All right, now we have our songs loaded up. And the default here for 6, you can see, is to show all your waveforms. And we can come down here and select any of them and watch them scroll across. Click here, click this one. But as you can see, this is very, very busy, and Virtual DJ recognizes that. So what we have here is focused decks, and this really helps you out a lot. Also, you have here the show extra grid lines, but we'll leave that off for now. We'll go to focused deck, and that's because we have, let's go ahead and select deck 1 here, and then over here we're going to select deck, we'll select deck 4. And then these are the two that are focused on in the players here. And so these are also the two that are focused on the waveform, and it's going to forget everything else. So even if those tracks are playing, it's going to throw them away. It's only going to focus on these two. In the same way, if you don't like it like this, if you want to go like that, it's got that option too. And here I'll show you. I'll go ahead and click through these, and you can see how these change. First, I'll do it for the right deck. Now I'll do it for the left deck. And you can see how that focus changes as I click through the different decks. So, but for the most part, it's very similar to the 2-deck mode. So now let's go to the 4-deck mode, because the 4-deck mode is a little more complicated. All right, so we're going to go up down here. We're going to select 4-deck mode. And here we are. Here we are in 4-deck mode. Even if you go to the scratch, you can see there's going to be 4 waveforms. We can play these. You can see how we can see all 4 waveforms clearly here in scratch mode. Up here, it's kind of a mess, just because you have so many on top of each other. In this case, we have the lines, the extra grid lines. Let's get rid of those so we don't have to look at them. Okay, now default is 4 decks. So you're basically seeing all 4 decks on top of each other, and whichever one is playing, that's the one that's going to have the focus. Now, here we have, these buttons here are important. On each deck, you're going to have one that says right, and then one that's got a number. Then here we got, same way right. Then we have left, left. Now, they're going to come important when we switch to our other modes. Let's go to default, left, right selected. Now let's select here this one, left deck, this one, right deck. Now these 2 decks are going to be what's in here. Okay, you see we have this deck right here. Then here we got the red deck right here. And that is what's selected. But if we jump down here, let's select this one and we go here. We're going to make this one left by clicking the left button here. You can see now the green is what we have selected, and the green shows up in the waveform. So even if we play this one right here, you can see this deck here, it's playing, but it's not in our waveform because it's not selected here. So next, we're going to go to inverted. Inverted, is where it's going to show us our left decks. It shows all 4 of them again, but our left decks are at the top here, and our right decks are at the bottom. So let's go ahead and play these. And then remember those bars, now they're in the center. And you can see these, the beats kind of reach up to one another, so it's really easy to see where these are going to line up. So next, let's go to Scratch Wave 4 decks. That's going to show us all 4 of our decks at the same time. And it's not unlike our Scratch window right here, where we can see each one. So if we go to our Scratch window, we can see them here, but now we're seeing them up here. So if you have it in mixer mode, now you can see all 4 of your decks playing at the same time. Next, let's go to Scratch Wave Left Right. And that is similar to our default wave left and right. So here we have this deck selected. Now if we select this one here. Now we have this deck selected. Same way, left, right here. We go here, scratch wave selected deck. Now scratch wave selected deck, this is going to show only one. Now, which one is it going to show? That's going to be determined by these up here. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna click on this one right here. You can see this one becomes the new waveform. It's only going to show me one. So if you're playing a bunch of different stuff, and also if you start to scratch on one, because this is really a scratch mode, if you start to scratch on one of these, it's automatically going to jump to that. So let's go ahead and we're going to play this one. We'll play this one. Now this one is playing in the background, but we don't see it up here because this one's selected. But we're going to start scratching on this one. You can see as soon as we start scratching on it, it's automatically jumped this up to deck number 4, and it's suddenly got the focus. Okay. The same way with these over here. This one isn't even playing, but let me go ahead and grab it. Suddenly, it's got the focus. So you can see this is a very scratch-centric mode to the waveform, the rhythm window. So let's get out of here because there's something else I want to show you. We're going to go back to left deck, right deck selected. Shut all these off. Now, go ahead. We're going to play. There we go. Select these. Okay. All right. Now we got the top deck here selected. The top deck over here selected. We're going to click play. Okay. We're going to play this one. Now both of these two, this deck is playing, this deck is playing. We see them up in our window. Now if we start playing this deck down here, you don't see it up in the window. But if we start scratching on it, it's going to appear in our window. And you can see it appears on top of the other two. So it's kind of like a scratch mode unto itself, in that it's going to get focus. And now that this is selected because I had grabbed it, you can see that this thing here has gained focus and it's in there. So if we were to select this over here to number 4, watch what happens. Now this one has focus. These two are still in there, but this one is also in there. And grabbing focus is going to take it away. You can see as I grabbed focus on this one, it took focus away from this one, and now we're just back to seeing the top two again. Now, likewise, let's go ahead and shut these off. We're going to switch this to left deck and right deck, and you can see now the focus belongs to these right here. If we play them like we're mixing these two tracks, if we do this to this up here, let's jump forward a little bit. Now you can see there's our red waveform up at the top because we have grabbed it, started scratching it, it grabbed focus, and it's now up in our rhythm window. So that is rhythm window. If you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments. If you like this video, please click the like button. If you really liked it, subscribe, or better yet, share it with your friends. Until next time, my name is Echo Papa, and I'll talk to you guys later.